It could get easier to stand your ground in Florida. State lawmakers passed a bill that would put more burden of proof on prosecutors. NBC2's Graham Hunter talked to legal experts about how this could affect the court system.
Well, the bottom line here is the change could mean more work for prosecutors during the pre-trial process, which could cost you more money. But it could also mean fear of these cases going to lengthy and expensive trials.
You have no duty to retreat. That's what Florida's Stand Your Ground law says to anyone who is under attack, and you can defend your life by killing someone else.
The Florida Supreme Court in 2015 that the defendant has the initial burden of proof.
To prove they were acting in accordance with Stand Your Ground. Now that burden of proof could shift to prosecutors, which could lead to different rulings by Florida judges.
If they think that maybe a defendant should have immunity, but maybe not, that person might get immunity now when prior to this he would not have.
Brian Edwards is a former prosecutor now working as a defense attorney. He has successfully argued Stand Your Ground in court.
Does it help a little? Sure. Does it put a little bit more work on the prosecution? Probably does.
But attorney Joe Viacava says that's the way it should be.
You can either prove something happened and you did something illegal and prove it beyond the exclusion of all reasonable doubt, or you can't.
Earlier this year, the state attorney's office said James Taylor would not face charges in the fatal shooting of Ryan Modell, who tried to enter Taylor's condo in South Lee County that looked like his, saying what Taylor did met the burden of Stand Your Ground.
It's pretty rare that you see a defense strengthened.
If Governor Scott signs this bill, Florida would become the first state to place the burden of proof in Stand Your Ground cases on the prosecution. Reporting live in the newsroom, Graham Hunter, NBC2.
By Kristen M. Clark. Herald/Times Tallahassee Bureau. LinkedIn. Google+. Pinterest. Reddit. Print. Order reprint of this story. Tallahassee. An NRA-backed proposal to shift the burden of proof in Stand Your Ground cases appears to be on the fast track for approval in the Florida House, echoing similar recent endorsements in the Senate and with continued vehement opposition from state prosecutors and gun control advocates. After the proposal abruptly failed on a deadlocked vote in the same Florida House committee last session, members of the Republican-heavy Criminal Justice Subcommittee voted 9-4, along party lines, on Wednesday to advance the legislation, HB 245. It faces only one more committee hearing before it could reach the floor. An identical measure in the Florida Senate, SB 128, quickly cleared its two committees despite similar concerns raised and became the first bill from either chamber that was sent to the floor for the 2017 session, which begins March 7. Through the legislation, conservative Republicans want to require state attorneys to prove in a preliminary hearing and beyond a reasonable doubt a trial-level standard why a criminal defendant should not get immunity from prosecution under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. That law allows individuals to use deadly force in self-defense with no obligation to retreat or flee. That has never, ever been done in the state of Florida's history. It's never been required anywhere in this country. Phil Archer, a state attorney and executive board member of the Florida Prosecuting Attorneys Association. Current judicial practice is to have criminal defendants prove at a pretrial hearing why they deserve the immunity. The Florida Supreme Court held up this procedure in a 2015 ruling, but advocates for the bill including the gun lobby and Florida's public defenders say it is unfair to defendants and contradicts what the legislature wanted in enacting Stand Your Ground 12 years ago. This levels the playing field between the government and the citizen, said Bob Dillinger, the public defender in Pinellas and Pasco counties, who spoke on behalf of the Florida Public Defender Association. Anytime the state charges you with a crime, they have the burden of proof all the way from arrest through trial, agreed Marion Hammer, the National Rifle Association's Tallahassee lobbyist. More, bill seeks to shift burden of proof in Stand Your Ground cases. but prosecutors warn the proposal will create an unheard of standard and not only make it harder for them to prosecute stand your ground cases, but they would be forced to try the case twice, once before trial and again at the trial itself. That has never, ever been done in the state of Florida's history. It's never been required anywhere in this country, said Phil Archer, the state attorney in Brevard and Seminole counties and an executive board member of the Florida Prosecuting Attorneys Association. Anytime the state charges you with a crime, they have the burden of proof all the way from arrest through trial. Marion Hammer, the NRA's Tallahassee lobbyist. House Democrats on Wednesday aimed their criticism at how the legislation would create an exception for stand-your-ground cases that wouldn't be afforded to other affirmative defenses, which need to be proven by the defendant. So we're taking what is now an affirmative defense which usually has to be asserted and we're making it automatic, and the prosecution has to unprove an affirmative defense, asked Representative Jared Moskowitz, D. Coral Springs. Yes, replied the bill sponsor, Representative Bobby Payne, R. Palatka, although he could not offer examples of other affirmative defenses treated like that. An analysis has not been done to determine the fiscal impact of the legislation, and it won't be vetted by any appropriations committee in either chamber. Yet prosecutors warn the proposal would increase their workload exponentially, because stand-your-ground defenses would then be claimed in thousands and thousands of cases whenever use of force is involved. That's not just gun-related crimes but also any kind of fist fight, every battery case, every domestic violence case, a verbal threat, or when someone gets arrested for assault, Archer said. If you flip this burden of proof, there will be zero risk to those defendants to assert a stand-your-ground defense, he said. This is not a vote about some of the hyperbolic things we've heard today, Representative James Grant, R. Tampa, said. This is a simple question of, do you believe in due process? Do you think it should be harder to lock people up, or easier? Kristen M. Clark, 850-222-3095, kclark@miamiherald.com, @BigChrisandMcClark. Read more here, http://www.miamiherald.com/news/politics-government/state-politics/article134263454.html #story link =CP. Why stand your ground shift could impact thousands of cases, prosecutors say.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.